Well, thank you very much for that welcome, and I want to wish all of you a good evening. I don't want to take too much of your time. I promise to finish before the bar closes. It's wonderful to have you here, and I simply wanted to come by, say hello, and pay my respects to some of the finest Americans, the battling buzzards of the 517. Let me also thank the active duty personnel who presented the colors this evening. We're obviously grateful for their service. It's a privilege for any citizen to be in the company of men who were sent into battle by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and who by courage, honor, and devotion to duty helped to win a war and to change the course of history. Time passes, but your achievements still resonate, and your country is very grateful. And so to the troopers, the widows, and the family members of the 517, I bring the respect of the American people and warmest personal regards from the President of the United States, George W. Bush. You share something unique that goes all the way back to the Second World War. Nobody was ever forced to be a paratrooper. Each of you volunteered to jump into the fight. So you might have come from different backgrounds in different parts of the country. From those early days of training in isolated areas of Georgia and North Carolina, you were among your own kind. Some years ago, one of your members told a journalist about the deep personal connections that exist among the members of your unit. He said you can explain to civilians the feelings you have about these other people. It's in your heart, but you can't explain it. It's kind of that way when one tries to capture in words exactly why the 517th and all of you, what you all meant to the country. It was a big step when America decided in the 1940s to start training paratroopers. Commanders knew it was a dangerous proposition to drop combat groups behind enemy lines. The men would have to jump out of airplanes thousands of feet above the ground and then be clear targets for enemy fire as they floated to earth. If they all made it, the jump sticks of 12 to 15 men would be the only thing on the ground with immediate tactical or unit integrity. And regardless of the conditions they found themselves in, their job would be to attack the enemy in close quarters. This was a lot to expect of any man or set of men, and it was absolutely essential to gaining the edge against the Nazis in Europe. So the Army had to sift through many volunteers looking for the very best they could find. A man who put on a pair of jump boots had to be in top physical condition, an expert sharpshooter and marksman. He had to possess the inner iron that makes a man go to the action and look danger in the face. He had to be the kind of guy who would get up and run even if he just hit the ground at the same time as his parachute did. Howard Hensley of the 517th has said that one of the most gratifying things in life is when younger people show detailed interest in what their fathers, brothers, uncles, and their buddies accomplished. And there is indeed great interest among your own families and throughout the nation in learning and understanding what the battling buzzards accomplished during those 33 critical months in World War II. It started with basic and jump training. For many, it was the first time you'd ever been in an airplane. And I've got a feeling the urge to stay inside that aircraft had to be pretty strong. Not until I read a book about paratroopers did I learn the legend that Geronimo translated means, "Who pushed me?" We trained together, came to know each other well, liked each other more or less, and gradually a brand new unit of the United States Army gained cohesiveness and formed its own traditions. In theater, the 517th took on hard and dangerous missions, and you carried on in good order. You fought in Italy, then France, where during Operations Dragoon and Albatross, each of you climbed up the steps of C-47s carrying well over 100 pounds of extra weight. Then came the Battle of Gulch, where in the words of one trooper, the battle for existence against the elements was at least as difficult as that against the enemy. You struggled in the waist-deep snow, with the mercury reading well below freezing, and you attacked the whole time, relentlessly, bravely, and successfully. Near war's end, during the final push into Germany, the skill and honor of the 517th were known and hailed by both the military and civilian leadership. Colonel William Triplett, commander of the 7th Armored Division's Combat Command A, said, and I quote, "I was and still am impressed by the quiet courage and capable, uncompromising performance of Seitz and his crew. He was, of course, talking about Lieutenant Colonel, later General Dick Seitz. Tonight, we're in the presence of that very man, a superb career officer in the United States Army. I also want to note the presence of a trooper who had the Medal of Honor pinned on him by President Harry S. Truman 62 years ago at the White House. Mel Biddle of Anderson, Indiana. It's an honor to be with you. At that ceremony in the Rose Garden, President Truman told Mel he'd rather earn the Medal of Honor than be President of the United States. Mel says he was tempted to offer Harry a trade. Along with that highest battle decoration, many others came to the 517, including 131 Silver Stars, 631 Bronze Stars, 1,576 Purple Hearts, 6 Distinguished Service Crosses, 2 Air Medals, 5 Legions of Merit, 4 Soldier Medals, and 17 French Croix de Guerre. The legacy of the 517th goes well beyond the ground you took and the honors you earned. Your experiences in training and your record as warfighters continue to inform the United States military. Special Forces did not exist by name in the Second World War. The closest thing to it was you, the paratroopers. And the training you received as young men remains the basis of Army Ranger training to this very day. You served in an extraordinary period in history when the future of freedom was in doubt and 16 million Americans put on the nation's uniform and labored in freedom's cause. In your war, that meant fighting your way across Europe, engaging Nazis in hand-to-hand combat. You know what tough fighting really involves. You know the chaos of battle and the pain of losing comrades. You soldiered on and gave it everything that was in you. You were the elites of your time, and you laid down the standard for all time as men who take duty seriously, serve with honor, and stay in the fight until the fight is won. Your group was reassembled often over the decades, and though your ranks have grown smaller, the spirit of these reunions never changes. You are patriots and loyal friends. Your story endures, and you need to know that men like you are an inspiration for those wearing the uniform in the 21st century. Every generation of warfighters confronts new realities of technology and tactics. In the war on terror, we face enemies every bit as brutal as the Nazis, but this time the enemies defend no territory, wear no uniform, and carry no flag. They reject rules of military engagement. They follow no standards of moral rectitude. They recognize no code of honor. They have set themselves against the United States and have vowed to kill as many Americans as they can by any means available. This is not a war we can hope to win on the defensive, so we're going after the terrorists wherever we find them. The hardest duties, as always, have come to the United States military, and these are tough, decisive hours in both Iraq and Afghanistan. You gentlemen and your wives belong to the generation who served under George Marshall and Dwight Eisenhower, and I know you're damn proud of the men and women serving right now under Peter Pace and General Dave Petraeus. One quality more than any other has kept this country free for more than 200 years, and that is the unselfish courage of citizens who step forward and defend the rest of us. For all of you, the call to duty came during 33 of the most eventful months in our history. You proved, as General Gavin of the 82nd once put it, that any parachute squad is worth a platoon of anybody else. winning a war, you formed a circle of friendship that is now in its 7th decade. You stuck together in combat, just as you've stuck together ever since. You preserved a great legacy and passed it on to your children and your grandchildren. And so, at least for this evening, I hope you will permit yourselves to leave all modesty aside, be proud of the way you've lived your lives, be proud that you were great soldiers, faithful and true when your country needed you most. Be proud of the 517th, a unit that covered itself in glory and whose members reflected high credit on the Army, the flag, and the United States of America. It's been my honor to visit you this evening and to say thank you for what you did for all of us. Thank you very much.